Today we continue with our class Shabbos Home. We start with Orchos Tzaddikim, and this class and all of the sections of this class should be dedicated to Rifah Shlema, Rifos HaNefesh, Rifos HaGuf of our dear Rabbi Yaron Ben Doris. He's going to have surgery, Beezrat Hashem, tomorrow morning, and it should be successful and should come to good, complete health, complete recovery. Also, in Seudas, Rifah Shlema, Yichud is Bas Noach, Ariela Ora Bas Anna, Rachel Bas Brindel, and David Shloma Ben Sandra. Okay, everybody should have Rifah Shlema. All right, so let's continue. And we continue with our topic of gate of humility. And next section, and it says the defects of the humble man are forgotten because all the desires are desires for his honor, and he therefore has many assistants. And they tell of a certain king who one night, when many men were sitting before him, got up and tended to the lamp himself, so that it would not go out. When he was asked why did he not order them to take care of it, he replied, I arose a king, and I returned a king. Okay, I arose a king, and I returned a king. Okay, the sages say men envy all qualities except those of humility, and he who is despised in his own eyes is great in the eyes of others. That's amazing. So let's do this piece. Okay, from the beginning there are a few commentaries. Okay, so again, the defects of the humble man are forgotten because all desires of his honor. So defects, whatever the deficiency this person have, forgotten because everybody wants to serve him, right? As we said last time. So everybody wants to be his friend. And let's see, why is that? So commentary say, for the fear of causing the humble man to lose his honor, no one speaks or publicizes his faults and shortcomings. Right? Everybody wants to install him in a higher position. Okay, let's continue. And he therefore has many assistants. Many people want to serve him. As we said yesterday, it's opposite to what people would expect, that everybody would step on him. No. They tell a story of a king who one night, when many men were sitting before him, got up and tended to the lamp himself, so that it would not go out. So in olden days, I mean, it's a pretty dirty job, I think. Right? You have to take off this wicks or something, I don't know, put more oil, whatever was it. So king did it himself. I'm not sure what everybody were doing while the king was walking to the lamp, but that's another story. I don't know. Okay, so he took care in front of everybody of the lamp. When he was asked why he did not order them to take care of it, he replied, I arose a king, and I returned a king. Okay, so for this we need the commentary. So meaning that his honor was not diminished. That's what he's saying. Okay. So commentary on this piece, I arose a king and returned a king. In other words, the fact that I lowered myself instead of instructing one of my servants to tend to the lamp did not at all diminish my worth. Okay, one is in a position of leadership who overuses his prerogative, manifest an imaginary honor that can easily be lost. Intrinsic honor, however, is not damaged or lost when one does not conduct himself in a manner that demands his honor. So let's try to understand. And sorry, it was our topic yesterday in HaYashar, right? About all of these people, community leaders that try to take advantage poor and destitute people and abuse their position of power, right? They use community funds and right scare people. Okay, so let's see. So again, in other words, the fact that I lower myself instead of instructing other, one of my servants to tend to the lamp did not diminish from my worth. So in some sense, I mean, in eyes of some people, he was actually being even promoted, if you can say so, right? Because king himself, he's right, he's like he overlooks his honor. But okay, one in position of leadership who overuses his prerogative. So meaning, as we were speaking yesterday and day before yesterday in HaYashar, meaning they abuse for sure their position, right? Manifests imaginary honor that can easily be lost. Meaning that everybody have to honor them, they have to bow to them. But guess what? People hate them because of it, because they like push themselves on others. Right, and they instill fear, and they demand other people to honor them. Right, so this honor can easily be lost. Intrinsic honor, however, is not damaged or lost, even if one does not conduct himself in a manner that demands honor. Very interesting. So continue. So the sages say every men envy all qualities, right, except for that of humility. It's very interesting. So men envy all qualities. I mean, like I don't know, like character traits, meaning like talents, right? Except what? Except humility. So nobody wants to be humble. I mean, we see it in our society. Everybody wants to arrogant, like speak loud and I don't know, to tell everybody what to do, that put people down, right? And so now the commentary. Men envy all qualities. Any quality that a person has come with built-in danger. Again, any quality that a person has come with as a built-in danger. Okay, this danger is that it will cause others to envy him. A person views the qualities of others as that which puts them above himself. Above himself, which in turn creates feeling of envy. So that's, I mean, we're going to explain, but we're going to go over and see it. That's exactly opposite what we were reading about the humble man. The one exception is the quality of humility. This is because the humble person conducts himself with unassuming manner, and the envious person, who is often driven by haughtiness, has no interest to act in that manner. Furthermore, the humble person makes others feel greater than him, and this is itself prevents envy. Right. And envy, right, as we said many times, creates marisai. Right. Ainara, right, bad eye. Okay. So I just told somebody, a new person wrote to me, asked the question. I said, before we continue, just change the picture. So it's in the picture with beautiful son. I don't know, like 7 years, 8, and like beautiful baby, right? So right, don't create this thing. You understand? So other people will envy. Some people cannot have kids, or the kids are sick, right? So and you with your beautiful son, like a very handsome boy, smiling, like healthy, like look at no, take it out, right? So again, any quality that a person has come with is a built-in danger. So meaning, on the one hand, this inborn quality or some quality that a person developed, it's good, right? But there is a built-in the danger. Why? Because people can get jealous, right? See, so he's talented in, I don't know, in music or in other things, right? So now people are jealous, right? Because others to envy him. Okay. A person views the qualities of others as that which put them above himself. So when person sees like some qualities in others, so that he better than me only in this. So now that the person start hating that person, so somebody else for that exact quality that person has. Why? Because I do not possess it and he has it, so that's he has to put him down. Right, so which in turn creates the feelings of envy, right? Because he has something that I don't have. So that's how nature of people work. Unless they seriously work on themselves, by default, people are envious. And one exception is the quality of humility. This is because the humble person conducts himself in unassuming manner. So people who are arrogant, who are envious people, so they assume that Hashem gave this person this and this gift by mistake. So meaning that he's deserving, right? That the envious person deserving, not somebody else, not his neighbor, not his right, not his cousin or something. Right, so that's the problem. That's the problem. All this feeling comes from arrogance. But this humble person, he's as we said last, I think, right? So he said if he's older than me, for sure he has acquired much more wisdom. For sure he did a lot of more deeds that better, the good deeds that I am. If he's younger, he's not as sinful. If he's right, this and that. So he would find this humble man always find good qualities in other people, right, and treat them with respect. So not only like to find in order to pacify himself, no, but even to show respect to other people, right? So it's very interesting. So they don't see him as a threat, that that he's in some way better than them, right? Right. And the envious person, who is often driven by haughtiness, has no interest in act in this manner as a humble person. Right? Furthermore, the humble person makes other feels greater than him, and like everybody likes compliments, right? Greater than him, and this is itself prevents envy, right? So there is no like a challenge. A second, my bookmark. Okay, continue. Right, and he who is despised in his own eyes is great in the eyes of others. So I'm not sure where this quote is from. Sages say, I'm not sure. Doesn't matter, right? But the sages say, men envy all qualities, right, except the quality of humility, right? And he, so it's another quote, and he who is despised in his own eyes is great in the eyes of others. So, right, all right, so let's stop here. And so let me take out. And we continue with Shabbos Home, and our big topic, as I said last time, I'm not going to finish because there is so much to say, is laundering. And it's chapter 12, and we continue with the summary, which is section number 4. And it says, summary of the section number 4. Okay, so let's do the summary and we're going to explain. Beezrat Hashem. It is forbidden to saturate fabric, even in dirty liquid. The prohibition applies if, right? So we said that, just to remind us, we said that saturating meaning soaking, right, into the fabric. It's the first step of laundering. Okay. So again, it is forbidden to saturate fabric even in dirty liquid. Okay, the prohibition applies if, number one, the fabric is so saturated that the hand which touches it transfers the moisture to another article. So we explained last time that's what's considered halachically wet. So something is wet, you touch it with a finger, let's say it's a towel or something, right? And you touch the countertop, it should be wet. So if not, so it's not considered to be wet. So it is wet, but halachically it's not. Okay. So that's one. Okay, so number two, the liquid is clear, right? The liquid is clear. And number three, the fabric of the type that is one cares to wring out. There is clothing. So let's do number two is liquid is clear, meaning if it's not clear, so for sure it's not laundering. So the point of laundering is make something that is dirty is less dirty, preferably clean, but at least less dirty. So if it's a clear liquid, as we said, maybe water, of course, right? Or we said vinegar, or we have white wine or something. So for sure, the person would want to wring out. But if it's dirty liquid, most likely not. Right? Or the fabric is the type that one cares to wring out. So for example, if it's disposable, some like paper towel, nobody cares to wring out, or some rag that you're planning to get rid of anyway, right? But if it's a towel, right, or if it's clothing, so for sure a person would want to wring out. Okay. When cleaning up the spill, so right now it's right as we explained last time. When cleaning up the spill, one should bear in mind that these rules, and also bear in mind the prohibition of dyeing. So what is dyeing? Dyeing is changing the color, right? So they would like cook herbs and they change the color. They would dye what is it? The wool, and to make what is it? Like curtains for the tabernacle, and like clothing for kohanim. So for sure. So that's one of the melachas. Right, so of course, like in a temple, that they were doing specific colors, but for us, any dyeing is forbidden. Okay, so even of course, as we said last time, it is unintentional. So if I have I don't know, like what is it, tomato juice, right? Tomato juice is spilled, and I take some like some towel. Right. So in some sense, the towel was this color, and now it's going to be reddish. So in some sense, we did the dyeing. Okay. So meaning improving of the color. So okay. When we're cleaning up the spill, one should bear in mind these rules, and also bear in mind the prohibition of dyeing. Okay. First point. When a fabric has been saturated and meets the preceding criteria, it may not be moved until it dries. When the however, two people may carry it together. So meaning, right? If the fabric is what is wet, right? That's our first condition. Liquid is clear, so meaning a person would want like to wring out. Right, and it's something that person cares about. To wring out for, he says clothing. I would say maybe a towel, right? So if all of these three condition are true, so you're not allowed to move the towel. So meaning even if you like it's absorbed with the spill, just put it aside, because while you still while the muktzah is still in your hand, you're not obligated just to drop it, right? Because you start something permissible, like you're trying to clean up the spill. You can go somewhere wherever you need to go, leave it the towel there, or a piece of clothing that is already there, and just let it be. So until it dries. Or he said if you need the place or something, so you need two people to carry carry. It's not because of it's heavy, of course, as we explained, because one person is going to remind to the other, like not to ring out. Okay. Continue. Second point. Clothing that one was wearing or intends to wear do not become muktzah by being saturated. Okay. So before not last time, I don't know, maybe the time before that, we were talking about laundry, like a person that does laundry right before Shabbos. Is it allowed to wear it, not allowed to wear it? And we said, what if somebody got caught in the rain? Friday night, person was coming from the shore, and the rain came from nowhere, right? And a person is wet completely, maybe not completely, but pretty wet, right? So it is since it was this clothing were not muktzah, right, in the beginning of Shabbos. So you're gonna put it dry, right, on a hanger or something, right, and there is no problem, and then you can wear it. Again, muktzah is only when it was from on Beit Hashem from the sunset until the nightfall. Okay, so in this case there is no problem. Okay. And plus we said there is no problem for us continue walking, and even if you have water in your shoes, in every step you're going to squeeze in double quote, but I mean squeeze literally maybe, right? Water from your socks, it's not a problem because it's not your intention. But as soon as you get home, so you're not allowed to continue walking in these socks. You have to remove them. Okay. So continue, and then the next point: laundry that was wet throughout the Beit Hashemashos is a muktzah and may not be moved the entire Shabbos, unless one was certain that it would dry completely on Shabbos. Right, so let's explain this point. So laundry that was wet during Bein Hashemashos, and we say for example, a person put it in the washer, and it finished washing, but it's still wet. Right, still wet before Shabbos, and the person put it on a clothing line and see if it's going to dry. So basically, if for example, if it happened in the fall or winter, so maybe it's going to dry, maybe it's not going to dry. So in this case, this clothing 100% muktzah, right? Because first of all, it was wet during the Bein Hashemashos, and there was no guarantee that it's going to dry. But if it was on a summer day, nice summer day, not humid, there is no reason why it should not dry. And most likely it is going to dry. So in this case, it's not muktzah. So again, if we're sure that it's going to dry, by the next time we need it, next time is I don't know, where's next time? Most likely on Shabbos day. But even let's say somebody put it in to dry and comes back from shul and he wants to wear the short. It's a special short. I don't know, special short for Shabbos. Okay, there is no problem. Okay. Alright, so that was a summary of what we said last time. So now we're going to the next section. Section number 5, and our topic: additional prohibitions related to laundering. Right. A. Hanging up the wet clothing. Right. So again, hanging up the wet clothing. Again, as we said, the problem is muddy sign. Right. I mean, we did not discuss it, but we said this about some last time, that people would suspect that we're doing something wrong. Remember, I gave the example of the mill, water mill, right? So, and people hear that the noise that something is being grinded, right? So even though the person is not there, I mean, it grinds on its own. The water turns the wheel, right? There is a sack for the flour on top, and they put in some container this grain, and it's going to grind by itself. You don't need to be there, right? So a person wants to save some time, let's say, right? But people would suspect that he's doing something on Shabbos, and that's why it is right, it's not allowed it's not allowed, right, we should not allow anybody to make noise in our house. For example, some guests and or some people say, I'm not observant, I need to go, like, or make a phone call, and guess what? They go out of your house, like out of the door. They right after they stand in front of your house and making phone calls. So people would say, I don't know, maybe he also speaks on the phone on Shabbos. How do we know? You understand? Or if, like, you have a babysitter, right? We said that there is a problematic, but let's say, right, and she wants to do, she's off on Shabbos, and she wants to do her laundry. She wants to vacuum her, like, room. That's a problem. Should not allow. Why? Again, that the people would suspect that we are doing ourselves. Okay. So again, our topic, hanging up wet clothing. There is a situation in which a person does a permissible act, but nevertheless gives impression that it's doing something is forbidden. So that's a definition, right? In many of these situations, the sages prohibited doing the permissible act because of appearance of wrongdoing. The prohibition is torn mari sign, literally the way the eye sees. The person doing the action may be suspected of wrongdoing by others, and they may consequently think or speak badly of him, and or mistakenly learn from his actions to permit things that are actually forbidden. We're going to explain. Due to the prohibition of mari sign, it is forbidden to hang the wet clothing to dry up on Shabbos, even if clothing become wet accidentally. There is in a rainstorm. One is forbidden to hang up to dry it in a fashion in which laundered clothing is hung, because onlookers might suspect that the person washed the garments on Shabbos. This prohibition applies to garments that are saturated to the degree that if the person touches them and then touches another object, he will transfer the moisture to the other object. So, right, so it's a lot of information. So let's start from the beginning. We're going to explain. So this mari sign. So he gives a definition of mari sign. So you doing something permissible, but people can suspect that you're doing something wrong. And another example that that we discussed in the Shabbos kitchen class, we said even though you have a blech, right, or you have a stove, right, and you cover it with blech, preferably to put inverted vessel on top, and only on top you put something to warm up. Why? Because people would come to your house and they see you warming up. They would not understand why do you need blech. Of course, like maybe it's your way of preference. Maybe it's going to be hotter. Maybe this, maybe that. But when you have you have a fire covered with blech, then inverted vessel, and then on top of that vessel you put a container or pot, whatever you need to warm up, for sure. Everybody said that you're not cooking. So that's mari sign. So even though you don't do anything forbidden, but for the onlooker, especially if they are not so knowledgeable, they might think that it is permitted, right? Permitted, like, and they draw wrong conclusions, and or they would suspect that person is doing something wrong and think bad about them, right? So especially in the people when not knowledgeable, they want to learn, and in their eyes you're a very religious person, so they would draw the wrong conclusion, and they would not bother to ask. There is a problem. Some people do not ask; they just look, and they register something in their mind. You can see in their eyes, and that's it. They do not ask. But you have to explain yourself, right? So be very careful not to confuse people. Due to the prohibition of mari sign, it is forbidden to have wet clothing to dry out on Shabbat. So especially we're saying like outside. if you have a clothing line. If you have like in a bathroom, you have a hook, or you have a like line, like in your shower, right? Some people have like to dry. You put it on a hanger, put it there. There is no problem. Nobody's going to see it. But outside is as we understand problematic, right? Clothing to dry. Even if clothing became wet accidentally, so meaning what? That everybody knows it was rain Friday night, right? You might think, right? So that's when I got wet. Guess what? Not everybody goes to shul Friday night. I mean, if they see inside of the house, they already forgot that it was rain. Yeah, you know that it was rain because you got wet, but maybe they don't, right? So and these people would suspect that you did laundry on Shabbos and now you just put it 5 minutes ago. Understand? Even though it was like from a long time ago. Okay. So again, one is forbidden to hang up to dry in a fashion that in which laundry clothing is hung, meaning that because onlooker might suspect that the person washed the garments on Shabbos. So like how it's hanged, like nicely, neatly, right? Because you care that it would dry correctly, right? So you would not need to do a lot of ironing. So that's how you put it on dry clothing line. Okay. This prohibition applies to a garment that is saturated to a degree that a person touches them and touches another object that will transfer the moisture to another object, right? So meaning from one place to another, meaning it was very, very wet. So the way I understand, I mean, he does not explain, meaning that it's going to dry for a very long time. Right. Okay. So if it was just a little wet, so meaning it's visible. So in another, like I just using my logic. I'm not sure if he's going to say, but just logically, it is like if you look at this something on a clothing line, so like you can tell like whether it's very wet or it's not wet, right? Right. So 1 second. Okay. So if it's very wet, so for sure they would say he did laundry. Okay. So which is a problem. So continue. The next part. Limits to this prohibition. The prohibition of hanging up the wet clothing applies to hanging in an area where laundered clothing are normally hung to dry. This includes the outdoor clotheslines, indoor clothes rack, laundry room or bathroom. The prohibition does not apply, however, to hanging wet clothing in an area not specifically used for hanging freshly laundered clothing to dry. Thus, it is permitted to hang wet clothing in a closet where the dry clothing is normally hung. I mean, that would be a problem, right? You can get a problem when like introducing a lot of moisture in that closet, especially if a person closes the door, right? It is also permissible to hang wet towel or article of clothing over the back of the chair, so meaning nobody dries like that. Furthermore, it is permitted to hang wet clothing in an area normally reserved for drying laundry if it is hung in a manner that is unusual for laundry. For example, a garment or a towel may hang in a crumpled shape, since this will make the obvious that it was not laundered. Similarly, it is permissible to hang up a wet article that is visibly dry in an area normally reserved for drying clean laundry. Okay. So let's do this piece. Okay. So you see, yes, there are many exceptions. Okay. So again, limit to this prohibition. The prohibition of hanging up the clothing applies to hanging in the area where laundry clothing normally is dry, right? So meaning where people usually, I mean, today, I'm not sure, like some people where we live, some people came from some countries and they started the drying like clothing like outside. Yeah, everybody were doing, I don't know, many years ago, maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? But today, most of the people, because of the preserve privacy, like they would dry their clothing in the dryer. That's why you need a dryer for, right? Today, what I'm trying to say, today the situation is a little changed. So meaning that people usually don't do laundry and then put up for drying on a clothes lines. Okay. This includes the outdoor clothes lines. I mean, most of the people, at least where we live, don't have. Indoor clothes rack, laundry room and bathroom, right? Indoor clothes rack. Okay, so this like extendable things, right? So some people use it. I saw it, right? Laundry room, okay, or bathroom. Okay, so that's where people, again, if you have somebody from outside, if you have only your family, there is no problem. If you're going to have guests, for sure it could be problematic. The prohibition does not. So okay. In this, again, wet clothing in special rooms, okay, not allowed. The prohibition does not apply, however, to hanging wet clothing in the area not specifically used for hanging freshly laundered clothing to dry. For example, as you say, you have a kitchen chair, and you put it on the back of the chair, right? So which is nobody doing this, and right, a closet. I'm not sure. Right. Usually these things, for example, when a person got caught in the rain, and if it's a jacket, for example, men's jacket, you're not going to put it you're not going to launder it. So for sure, if you're going to try to launder your jacket, you can throw it out. You cannot restore it. So we do dry cleaning. So meaning if you put it, but if it gets wet, it's going to dry, no problem. So meaning if you put it on this clothing line, for example, this jacket, so all of the normal people understand that you get caught in rain. It's not like you launder this jacket, and that doesn't matter. I think of what material it's made of. I mean, whether it's like wool or a synthetic material, and you can ruin it very simple, very simple. So nobody would put it in if they are normal mind into the washer. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, for sure, people would understand that you get caught in the rain or spill something on yourself. So, but spill something on yourself, again, there is no problem, right? We said one of the conditions. We said that the garment saturated so much, like majority of the garment is saturated. But if it's a small spot, nobody is going to wring. There's nothing to wring. Okay. Right. Just 1 second. Again, thus it is permitted to hang the wet clothes in a closet, right? Not recommended because you can introduce mold in there. That's my personal comment. Right? Closet where the dry clothing are normally hung. Okay. It is also permissible to hang the wet towel or the article of clothing in the back of the chair. So nobody is drying like that. Okay. Furthermore, it is permissible to hang the wet clothing in the area normally reserved for drying laundry, if they hang in a manner that unusually for laundry. So I mean, when you want to dry an article, so you try to make it as straight as possible and spread as much as possible, so more air has access to it, so it's going to dry faster. That's normally what you do. So meaning that if a person put this in a crumbled manner, so for sure he's not or she does not care about crumpled, right? Dry fast or dry that also. Like sometimes when the something wet, you just put there. I think, I don't know why I have this example, but I have this example when you go to mikvah, right? I'm talking about men's mikvah, so you use your towel, you just leave it there. You don't put it nicely, because anyway, they're going to do laundry. Okay, so you don't care as much. Okay, laundry. Similarly, it is permissible to hang up the wet articles that visibly dry, right, in an area normally reserved for dry and clean laundry. Okay, so meaning it's visibly dry. So how do you know? Like maybe the wind is swinging back and forth, because like you can see that it is normally dry. It is almost dry. So next piece, let me just quickly see how. No, we're not going to finish, but okay, but we continue. Articles that are normally dry clean. Oh, here we go. Some poskim rule that preceding prohibition does not apply even items that are normally dry clean. For example, coat suits. So nobody, normal person, would wash the jacket like for men's suit or pants. Like just if you want to throw out, just throw out. Don't waste water, because you do that, that's it. You cannot restore them. Right. If they become soaked, one may hang them in the area normally reserved for drying laundry, since nobody will suspect that the person hanging washed them with water. Right. So I mean, it got wet from the water, but it was not intentional. So again, as we said, but you can understand this logically. So right, all of the things that normally dry clean, nobody's going to wash, and plus like overcoats, for sure no normal person is going to wash overcoat. That most probably it got caught in the rain, and you just drying. Okay, so next subsection B, and says hanging wet clothing in a hot area. Oh, so that could be that's problematic. Why is it problematic? So a person would cook the water inside, right? And cook, as we said, it does not mean that it has to boil, right? It's much lower temperature. Okay, so let's see. It is forbidden to place the wet garment or towel near the source of heat, where the water absorbed in it can be heated to scalding temperature. Yatzalet bo. So I'm going to remind, like when the hand recoils, and it's approximately, here we go, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not that hot, right? It's not boiling, right? All right, so continue. If the water is heated to that extent, one commits the Melachah of cooking, bishul, as well as Melachah of bleaching, melabain, since the hot water purges the fabric of dirt. The sages therefore forbade placing the damp item for even one moment near the source of heat that could possibly heat it to the scalded temperature, if it is left there. So we're going to explain all this. This prohibition pertains to draping wet garment or towel near the oven or fire, over the radiator, of course, or over a hot pot that was removed from the fire, clearly shown. Okay, so let's do this piece from the beginning, and we're going to explain. So now here we're going to combine what we learned in this class earlier, right, and also what we learned in our class in Shabbos kitchen, right, because there we were talking about cooking, right, cooking and other things. Okay, clearly shown. We're going to learn. Okay, so from the beginning, it is forbidden to place wet garment or towel near source of heat where the water is absorbed. Water absorbed in it can be heated scalding temperature. So is it going to start evaporate? Maybe yes, maybe no. Probably not yet. But it can get to this, as he said, minimum 110 degrees. Okay. Yatzalet bo. Okay. Right? If the water is heated to that extent, one commits the Melachah of cooking, bishul. So the Melachah of bishul starts from Yad Seledas Bo. So when you say like how long you need for this dish to cook. So starting from the point it reaches Yad Seledas Bo and until the end process of cooking, right? And why do we know that? Why do we need to know that? Who cares? Yeah, it's a big difference, right? It makes sense. As we said before, there is something that was cooked illegally on Shabbos, so it is prohibited to eat until the time passes. Right? For that person, it is forbidden forever. But for other people, it is forbidden until the time passes after Shabbos that would take to cook this food from the beginning. Okay. Okay, so again, if water is heated to the extent that one commits the Melachah of cooking, bishul, as well as Melachah bleaching, melabain. So bleaching, just to remind us, we said that bleaching is right, it's a form of dyeing, right? So meaning that when they have a wool, all of the wool combined from the different sheep. It was, of course, different colors, so they had to make it one universal color, and then keep it white or like dye it in red or blue or whatever, some other colors. Turquoise, okay. Right. So meaning what? This the hot water purges the fabric of dirt. So meaning the bleaching was like to make to wash first this what is it the wool and then make different colors. So that's hot water. That's right, hot water. That's what it does. It removes the dirt. The sages therefore forbade placing the damp item for even one moment near the source of heat. Right. So as we said, the radiator next to the stove, next to the fireplace. Some people have fireplaces, right? Why? And they say even for a short period of time, momentarily. And this concept, I remind you, and I remind all of us that we actually discuss in details in our other class that we're going to have after that. Topic of laws of Yichud. So and this laws of Yichud, there were two opposite opinions, and one opinion said that since, like technically, if these people stay long enough in this situation, it can bring to arise, right? It would be like one of the elements, right? So for this for Hilchas Yichud, as we said, for this arise relationships is a time. The time to have these forbidden relationships. So let's say, I think that we said 2 to 3 minutes, right? Something like that, 2 to 3 minutes. So meaning what? That even if a man would come into seclusion for a woman only for 15 seconds, he comes just to give her message or do whatever, and he leaves. So technically, since if he would be staying there, he could have stayed for 3 or 5 or 10 minutes. So they say it is initially it is forbidden. So same is here. It is not allowed to put this piece of clothing, wet damp fabric, like even for a moment. Why? Because that's what you thought. I'm going to leave it on for 2 minutes, but guess what? People forget things, and he could have and then he forget and would leave it for 2 hours, right? So that's the problem. So that's why sages said near the source of heat is absolutely forbidden. Okay. So again, source of heat has all of this that we discussed. So next one, section C, wiping mud on a towel. Another rabbinic prohibition relates to laundering is the prohibition of wiping mud on a clean towel. Right, on a dirty towel or dirty rag, there is no problem. We're going to see, but clean towel for sure it is a problem, right? The sages forbade this out of the concern that since the mat will render the towel unfit for the further use, the mat can be rinsed off easily, right? One might forget and rinse out the towel in violation of the prohibition of laundering. Thus, if one's shoes became muddy, he should not wipe them with clean towel. It is permissible, however, to wipe them with moist mud, to wipe up moist mud with a rag or paper towel, since one will not be disturbed by becoming, but it's becoming soiled. Rubbing off the dried mud is forbidden due to the prohibition of grinding, as we said before. So let's do this again. We're going to explain. So wiping mud on the towel. So we said before when we were talking about mud. So if you want to wash it, then there is no problem, right? If you have garden hose, right, and you want to wash I don't know, whatever this rain shoes, there is no problem. So as we said, right, make sure that there is no stitching, right? Or stitching synthetic. It's like the wool or some other material that is going to absorb. But otherwise, there is no problem. You can wash your shoes. Okay. So, or as he's saying, a person wants to wipe the mud from the shoes. If you do it with a paper towel, with a napkin, there is no problem. You're not going to do anything. You just throw it in the garbage, no problem. Or with rag also, there is no problem. So nobody cares about rag. But about towel, people do care. So when you wipe your shoes with a towel, the towel is going to be dirty. Right, and it's it's simple since it's this mud is so fresh. You can put it under the stream of water. It's going to clean. So why should I? And then if it's going to dry, it's a bigger deal. So a person might think, why should I let me do it now? Let me clean the towel now, and that's why it is forbidden, because a person might forget and do this thing. Okay. Right, so that's why with towel is forbidden. Right, and the last thing that he has in parentheses, rubbing off the dried mud is forbidden. Why? We said 10 pages ago, right? Because it's a prohibition of grinding. Just to remind us, we are prohibited to grind something that grows from the ground. And grind is not necessarily like a classic grind. You have a grain and you grind and you make flour. No, grind, we said reducing some big object to the smaller particle. That's it. So meaning even you crush tomatoes, you chop tomatoes, tiny pieces. So it's already could be the prohibition of grinding. Okay. That's what we learn in Shabbos kitchen. Continue. Subsection D. Covering the bucket of water with a cloth. Today maybe we don't use all. So for some people it could sound strange, but guess what? You never know. For some people it's very, very practical. And in this class we used to have one lady. So she was living on a farm. I said, what do you mean? Yeah, so for sure. Right, living on a farm. And in another class, we have somebody living on a farm. So when that person started asking his question, I said, let's learn something practical. Why do you care? Why do you ask me about the cows? What to do with the milk? But then the person, no, it's very practical. So in my mind, everybody lives in the cities. Nobody deals with the cows. But that person, guess what? Deals with the cows. Right, and cares if non-Jew would come and milk the cow, what should they do? Should be not? What can they do with the milk? This and that, all these things, right? And the non-Jew also comes and feed the chicken, even though they can feed the chicken themselves, but they prefer, especially on holiday, right? Okay, very interesting. Okay, That's also in one class they asked me a question and I could not understand what they were like about rag and how many rags. So the person asked if I'm going to wash laundry the rag. If I use this rag to clean up the what is it the spill from the chicken soup, right? So meaning the rag became meat. I say yeah, it became meat, and then I have another rag that you use for daily. Okay, no problem. And then person said that if I'm going to wash this rag, it is going to become part of it. It's like, what are you talking about? What part of? And then I realized, so in that place, people do wash rugs, and it's normal. It's absolutely normal. People don't like much like poor society, and then simply, of course, there are paper towels, but only for rich people. Understand? So people would wash the rugs. So, I mean, I did not realize right away like why they asked me this question, but then I realized, right, it's very interesting. Right. So now going to our back to our question, covering the bucket with water with a cloth. It is forbidden to cover bucket of water with a cloth because the cloth might fall in and become saturated, and one might then come to wring it out. Okay. However, if the cloth is designated as a cloth for the bucket, it may be used for that purpose. Since even if it comes wet, one will not bother to wring it. Okay, to wring it. Okay, so let's see. So the way I understand what they're talking about, there is people wash floors, right, and from the bucket, right? Water is in a bucket, and they have right, and they would use the cloth like from like sometimes they would use the old clothing that no longer in use, like towards their floors. So meaning that they would cover the this bucket or just put it on the sides on top of the bucket to dry. But somehow a person, I don't know how, maybe the way I understand maybe they was cleaning up the spill and they needed a place for this towel to dry and they put it on top of the bucket, so it would be problematic, right? If for example they were washing the floors and the water is dirty inside and they did not have time to spill it out, so it is there. So now if my towel is there, if you're going to fall into this dirty water, so I might want to take it out and wring it. So they say don't do it. So again, it is forbidden to cover the bucket of water with a cloth because the cloth might fall in and become saturated, and one might then come to wring it out. Right. So that's that's our reason. However, if the cloth is designated to cover the bucket, well, maybe or in my example, it's used for washing the floor. So if it's going to become dirty, like who cares, right? It may be used for that purpose. Since even if it become wet, one is not bothered to wring it out, right? So meaning just leave it there. Next point is E, walking near the body of water, right? It is forbidden to walk near the body of water if there is a danger of falling in, right? Since one's clothes would then become soaked and he might wring them out, right? For example, one should not walk on a ledge of the swimming pool. Similarly, one may not walk on a frozen body of water, even if it's relatively shallow, unless he is certain that the ice is thick enough to support his weight. Okay, so again, don't walk near the body of water because you might fall in, right? So be it pool, like our ice, like a lake, I guess, covered with ice, right? So so we're afraid that the person should like put himself or herself in this situation. They might get wet. Okay. All right, perfect time. I think we stop here, and we stop in my favorite place, meaning the summary of section 5. So next time, with Hashem, we're going to start with the summary and review what we learned this time. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes break, and we continue to today's Wednesday story night. We're going to tell a story. Okay, 5 minutes. So we continue today with our class Laws of Yichud, and we were in section of the practical applications. Okay, so next section is number 4. Okay, and it says, so next big topic is right. We're not going to finish it, but because it's very long, but we do part of it at least. So it says Yichud in a car, taxi or bus. So that's one is is very extensive. Point number 1, and it says, although some leading poskim are stringent, the general custom is to permit Yichud in a car, if necessary, right? Of course, when driving during the day or evening or on busy streets or road. This is because the car windows is considered Pesach Pesuach. However, driving in the country roads or in deserted areas is Yichud. Thus, a man and a woman, for example, couple on a date, may not drive alone in the deserted or lonely country roads late at night when there is almost no traffic. Okay, so now he's going to bring all of the different cases. So let's do from the beginning and try to understand. So on one hand, some leading poskim, they say stringent, don't write, man should not take a ride with a woman. Okay, but if there is no if there is no other way, for example, I mean, for example, as we said, somebody needs to drive his babysitter, right? So babysitter has to get home somehow. Right, so he can give you a ride. If it's light, right? If there is not tinted windows, so sometimes like a glass, sometimes I see in the cars the glass is so tinted you cannot see inside, like only from the front, but from the side you have no idea what is that. I'm not sure it's legal or not legal, but for the case of Yichud, for sure it's not legal, for sure not, right? Because the permission that for a man and a woman to be in this situation when it is Pesach Pesuach, right? This situation Pesach Pesuach, and we say what is it like? Open door. So open door meaning like in a double quotes, open door. So meaning that you can see what is going on inside. So, but if all of the windows that tinted, like how can you see what is inside, right? Okay, so but in case of necessity, right, when you can see through what is going on inside, so it says during the day, right, in the streets or roads when you have traffic, when people are passing by, people are driving by, so that's the situation. So meaning if it's like in very late at night or deserted roads, for sure it's not allowed. It's going to be Yichud. Right, and he gives the example of a couple on a date. So couple on a date, yeah, they're very close, they're very friendly, but that's a problem. They're not married yet, so they're not allowed. The laws of Yichud, in some cases, even more restricted to them than somebody else. It's like gozbo. So gozbo, we said somebody feel like very friendly to that person, affectionate. So right, absolutely not. Right, so that's what we always say, especially in the winter when there's shortened days. If you go to a date, you have to drive somewhere. Make sure that you only a few hours, or don't drive very far. Like go to the park or something, go to a cafe or something, like stay there. Don't take long walks or something. Okay. So continue. Subpoint A. So it's one, and now subpoints on this topic. Highways, main roads. Yichud in a car on a major highway, for example, New York State Thruway, New Jersey Turnpike, is permitted even late at night because there's always traffic passing through. Okay, so meaning New York Thruway, I think it goes, what is it? Is I-78 or 87? I think it's 87. It goes from the Canada. All right, Canada, from New York to Canada, and goes, I think, all the way to Florida, I think. Right, so meaning it's like a major road. New Jersey Turnpike also, right? And a lot of Jews using both of these roads, right? Okay, so why? Right, again, why is it permitted? Be always busy, always busy. So next one is B, lightly travel roads. Yichud is permitted in a car while on a major thoroughfare, even late at night, because there is a constant possibility of some traffic, truck or car, passing by in average proximity every 10 minutes. Right, so meaning very interesting. So lightly traveled road because of the off hours. Right? He says late at night, but for sure there is a cars like on some like service road or something, like maybe it's going to be one car, maybe not, like maybe one in a few hours, right? But this major thoroughfare for sure. Okay, so that's why it is allowed late at night. But the problem is, in my mind, like it's not unless you have to use one exit and another exit and that's it. But otherwise, you to get to the thoroughfare to this major highway, to get off, like you would drive for some time, like on local roads, what could be problematic. Okay, so next subsection C, and it says the side streets in the major cities late at night, right? In a major city, so in major city, like there is always city that do not sleep, right? Many poskim regard thoroughfare and the most side street in major city, for example, New York City, as a rishus harabim, even very late at night, because the endless traffic and activities on a well-lit street of the major city 24 hours a day, right? So meaning, first of all, there are lights, street lights in the big cities, and plus there is always traffic, always somebody's coming, somebody's going. Okay, so meaning it's much more lenient. If necessary, one may be lenient in places that are busy and well lit. Okay, so again, all of these things should be only after the fact, even only if you don't have any other options. So just, I mean, we read this, we explain, but I also have to remind us. So it's because majority of the paskim said, don't do it. Okay. So let's do one more in this time. So the next one is a subsection D, roads in the side streets in the suburbs, right? One must avoid yichud in a car late at night. So late at night is approximately after 11 p.m., right? When driving the quiet suburbs neighborhood, right? So meaning because like people there sleep at this time. I mean, maybe not sleep, but for sure they're in the houses. Nobody's going anywhere, right? When driving quiet. While some poskim permit yichud on any street, even late at night, it is questionable if this also applies to applies when driving in a car, right? So meaning one thing, people on the street, they stay like I don't know, sit on a bench, but another thing like late at night and nobody sees what's going on in the car. Therefore, a father driving babysitter home, or a couple returning from a shidduch meeting in a suburbs neighborhood must avoid driving after 11 p.m. or they will need to opt for leaving car car's interior lights, right? So that's another point that we said, like if it's very, very late at night, so and there are not too many cars, so in another solution, right, maybe even preferable solution to put on these internal lights, right? But of course, it would bother other drivers, right, very much, right, because it's going to reflect in your this back mirror, back view mirror. Okay, so let's stop here, and to be continued. So let's see. So today we continue with our book Varevna, where we discuss very interesting halachic situations and stories, and give answers. Right? So it's from based on the lectures of Rabbi Zilberstein, Shlita, Yitzchak Zilberstein. Okay, and the next story, we're on Parsha Naso, right, in the middle of this Parsha, and the next story is human punching bag. Based on the verse in Bamidbar 6:11, means that he shall atone for his sins regarding the soul. Again, he shall atone for his sin regarding his soul. Let me just move the bookmark quickly. 1 second. Okay. And it's the challenge. So the challenge is the problem. After having lost one job after another, and finding himself unable to secure a suitable long-term place of employment, Reuven decided to go into the business for himself in a creative niche of service that had never before been explored: a human punching bag. Right? You see this? He borrowed protective clothes and headgear and stood on a busy street next to the sign that read, "A human punching bag, $10 for 3 minutes of punching." So it's 3 minutes of punch. $10. So I mean, this book was written a long time ago, but it's very cheap. Like if somebody is strong, like one punch, and that's it. The person is dead, permanently like damaged. Okay, but okay. His scheme was successful. Passers-by who saw the sign found the outlet of their frustration by punching him for 3 minutes, which they found was well worth of the $10. From the very first day, Reuven realized that it was far more profitable enterprise than any other job that he could find. So $10 in 3 minutes, right? Of course, it's not every 3 minutes, but we got the point, right? It's fine. Furthermore, it helped him to overcome his naturally shy personality, which he had made him afraid of violence and confrontation. The suit of clothes and the headgear protected him from any serious harm, and he went home with no more than a few bruises, aches, and pains. Although he was in no danger of death, and he preferred physical pain over poverty. He began to wonder whether the new business was permitted according to Halacha. Okay, so before we continue, let's understand the problem. So this person tried one job, another, he was fired from the job, and you see, he's naturally a shy person. Shy person meaning, right? It's not good. It's not bad. We learn. We did not get in the book of Orchos Tzaddikim. We're going to see like praises and sometimes not good thing that is said about shy people. Okay, so mostly good, but sometimes it's not good to be shy. Okay, we're going to learn. So he created a job, right? So us offer people to punch him, so he would have some protective gear. I'm not sure, even with protective gear, it's like you still feel the punch. Somebody like big guy, Right, would punch you like I'm not sure if he had his face closed. I'm not sure. Like they would have helmet, but still with this helmet, I don't know, dangerous, right? And I guess he could kick them. I'm not sure, but kicking. Okay, let's say punching. Okay, no point. Right, so good money, but basically, is it kosher? So what's the problem? Meaning that he puts a stumbling block in front of the blind. It says in Torah that you're not allowed to raise your hand on another Jew, as it says. I remind you what it says. It says about Moshe when Moshe went out and he saw that one Jew was fighting with another, and he said, well, "What are you doing? You sinner!" And Rashi explained there that he just raised his hand, and it was like he already sinner, like he punched him. Okay, so it is a problem. So meaning what I'm trying to say, like one of the issues that this person put a stumbling block in front of the other people. As I understand it, this story is from Israel. Okay, so continue. Solution. Rabbi Zilberstein Shlita began with a quote from Shulchan Aruch. It is forbidden for a person to intentionally cause himself physical harm. Right, all of these things, like all of the sports, for example, right, right. People say, yeah, the sport. Somebody asked me about soccer. I think and I said I think it's dangerous. People, maybe for kids there is no problem, but if a person is older, like if he falls, he falls. That's it. He would break a foot, like a leg. I don't know, something, right? Or to stretch it. All of these bad things. Why? Why do you need to do this? Oh, he says for exercise. Or if you like to run, you can run. You could run go in the gym on a treadmill or something like that. If it's for health, but it's not for health. It's for this aggressive sports. So it's not for us. It's for other people, right? It's not for us. And plus, it's endanger like your health for sure. Right, but it says Choshen Chamish, but 420, chapter 31. This ruling is based on Gemara Baba Kama 91a, that explained that the verse that saying that Nazir, he shall atone for his sin regarding the soul. Regarding whose soul did he Nazir sin? He sinned regarding his own soul by abstaining from the wine unnecessarily. If a person is considered a sinner just for abstaining from pleasure of wine, then he is certainly considered a sinner for causing himself pain. So let's try to understand this part, right? And we shall learn about in details about this Nazir, where in our Monday class, right, in Hilchos Dios, when Rambam was discussing all this extreme character traits, right? And we said on one hand, it is a person who wants to indulge in every pleasure in the world, and another extreme is he wants to lead ascetic life, also not allowed. And the Rambam brought the proofs from this Nazir. If Nazir, he abstained only from wine, from grapes, from grape seeds and other things, but otherwise there is no problem. Right, he just doesn't cut his hair and abstain from contaminate himself with a dead person, but that's it, right? But he can eat all other foods, enjoy all other things, right? So, and he is called sinner, so he has to bring the sin offering to the temple. Why? Because he deprived himself of wine. So I explained the Holy Rambam. He said, needless to say, these people who want to live in the mountains, some seclusion, and eat bread or even like grass or whatever they eat, like crazy people. So it's not Judaism. It's right. It's craziness of Christianity. I don't know who other people do it. Monks in I don't know. Okay, I don't know. All this. Okay, so the person is sinner. So he's doing. Rabbi Zilberstein do it Kal Vachomer, meaning needless to say, if the person who deprived himself from wine is called sinner, right? Needless to say, the person who who caused himself pain, he is a sinner. So is it a person like suffers from non-drinking wine? Maybe if a person got used to wine, drink wine, let's say on Friday night or Shabbos day, drinking wine, enjoys it, right? There is no problem. He's enjoying, and now he deprives himself. Yeah, he feels some suffering, I guess. I think. Okay. Continue. In this case, however, there might be a room for it to be lenient, since ruin pain is necessary in order to earn their livelihood. Okay, so we're going to explain. The Nadabi Yehuda in volume 2, Yorek Deyat, chapter 10, makes use of this reason in his discussion of hunting as a profession. Hunting as a sport is forbidden due to the dangers involved, among other reasons, right? When Esav, whom Torah describes as a skilled hunter, said that he risked his life hunting the animal, as Ramban comments on the verse, I'm going to die, in Bereshis 25:27 and 25:32. How then could the hunter willingly risk his life for the sake of entertainment? Okay, so let's understand this next paragraph again. Right, but here Rabbi Zilberstein Shlita said that it could be lenient. Why? Because this ruin, so endures his space, is necessary to earn his livelihood. Right, and sometimes a person, like if somebody's in construction or something, and he needs to get on the third floor without elevator, right? All of these tools, all the bags with cement, like all the heavy machinery, right? So is it suffering? For sure, it's suffering. Do they get bruises? For sure, they get bruises. You understand? But that's part of their job. So it's not like they do it for fun. So if you ask these people, what would you prefer, to take a day off or are you going to work? So of course he would prefer day off. Okay, right. So but it's part of the making living, right? So Nadai Beyehuda, so a great commentary, right? So he's making parallel to professional hunting. So professional hunting meaning a person hunt animal for skins or something, right? That's it. So meaning that's his livelihood. Hunting for sports is forbidden. So all these sports, like dangerous sports, like it's for sure forbidden. Like I don't know, like jumping with a parachute, like a bungee jumping, like a person said, yeah, but people don't die. Yeah, people don't die, but guess what? They have a problem with the spine after that because of all this like pressure, right? All like a stress, for sure. Yeah, maybe they don't jump, maybe they don't die, but like most likely they don't die, but they're going to suffer until the rest of their life, right? So. Right. So one second. So and how do we know this is dangerous to hunt? From Esav. So Esav said, "Why do I need this firstborn rights?" Right. So he said, "I'm going to die. I'm a hunter. I'm a man of the field. I might die." Right. It says, "I'm going to die." So meaning then Ramban. I don't. Okay. It's, I remember what Rasha said. So probably was close to what Ramban said. So meaning. I'm in constant danger. Most likely, I'm going to die on the job. So I enjoy it, but it's dangerous. So animals don't like to be killed. Let's put it this way. And it was before the time of the rifle. So today they have like a huge bullet. You can like hit the animal. That's it, and it died, and it dead. But in olden days, you have spears. Like you have bow and arrow. So to kill like big animals, I would not say that it's such an easy thing, right? Especially if they're going against lion or against a tiger, like a elephant or a bear. So they're not going to die just because of one arrow. You're going to get them angry because of one arrow, for sure. Then they can attack. So it's very dangerous. Okay. So hunting is a dangerous thing. Okay. Nevertheless, if person needs to hunt the animals for his livelihood, this justifies the risk involved. So meaning again, it's not for pleasure, it's for livelihood. As other professions also dangerous and not healthy. Those who are travel on a business also also risk their life on the ocean voyages, for sure, right? Especially in olden days, right? You would always say that the blessing when you cross the ocean, or even then not cross, but were in the ocean, then come back, ocean or even the river, not river, but for sure seas, because people who goes out in the sea, nobody knows they're going to see them again or not, right? So for sure it was dangerous, but people would do because of the money, right? Those who travel on a business also risk their lives in the ocean voyages. Okay. The Torah states regarding the efforts of the paid laborer, he puts his life in danger. In Dvarim 24:15. So it's very interesting. So meaning when the Torah says that we must be very careful not to offend this person who worked for us, right? We have to pay him on time, right? Treat him with respect. So it says he puts his life in danger. Literally, it's not figurative, literally. Right. The Gemara explains that he risked his life by climbing the tall ramps and trees. Right, climbing tall ramps and trees. So meaning, right. So meaning to get fruits, I don't know, bananas or right, like a cost tree, it's huge. The palms is huge to get on top of it, and I saw once the guy was climbing, he has a special ropes, and the guy's professional. He was so fast, and he was so amazing how he got on top. But for other people, forget it. You understand? And of course it's dangerous. So the height is maybe a second, a third floor, fourth floor. Meaning if you fall from that, that's it, you're out. Especially in the olden days. Okay, so the same concludes the same should apply in our case, since there is no clear risk to ruin life, right? He may subject himself to some amount of harm and limited danger for the sake of his livelihood. So the harm, for sure harm, right? A little, but because of his protective gear, so maybe there is no open life danger. Okay, but it's always the second side, as we said. Yeah, he may be, he may be allowed to in order to make his money, but what about other people, right? Other side, his person is allowed to punch him, so that's another story. And the way I see it, it could be placing a stumbling block in front of the blind, right? So just because somebody is irreligious, it does not mean that he's allowed to transgress anything, and we're not allowed to help them to do that. Okay. So so next part of this story: may others punch him. Until now, we have discussed only the permissibility of Reuben getting hit. Right. What about the permissibility of others to hit him? Hitting someone violates the Torah prohibition of do not add his lashes to his lashes. In Dvarim 25:3, Rambam Hilchas Chovel Umazik 5:1. I think we're going to start in my morning class Chovel Umazik. Right, it's laws of damages between people. Even if he wants them to hit him, who permitted them to violate Hashem's decree against violence. So meaning what? That we have this punishment. So if a person for transgressing some of the negative commandments, we have 365 negative commands, not for all of them, but for many of them. If person violates, there were witnesses, they warn him, so he's going to get lashes. So and how many lashes? They say 40, but 40, our sages explain, not 40, but less than 40. How many less than 40? 29. And it says, do not add to his lashes. So meaning 39, but no more. Right? And in some cases, it says even, and it's not in some cases, the physician is going to evaluate the person, right, based on age, condition, right, the physical health, and the physician is going to say like how many lashes he can endure. Like normally survive, not to kill him, like not to live on crippled something, right? But so he would get his educational punishment, and then hopefully he's going to learn his lesson, right? But it says clearly, do not add. So meaning if somebody punch another person, I think in my mind there is a second verse as well, but the one verse for sure, the supported verse, don't add to his lashes. So meaning whatever he was obligated to get, let's say the doctor said 18 lashes he can endure, okay, no problem. So we give him 18 lashes, but no more. So meaning he does not deserve to 19 slash. All right, so meaning what? A person who is not deserving to get beaten at all, and somebody else punch him, so he's in violation. This halacha, do not add to his lashes. Okay, so we continue. I think that's we're going to planning to start soon this section. Okay, so continue. This point seems to be a subject of debate between the poskim. Ralbach in Kuntrens Hamesiach 101, right, rules that if one says to his fellow, hit me and you will be exempt from payment, he's indeed exempt for any damage that he caused. Furthermore, not only is he exempt from the payment, he is even permitted lechatchila to do so. Ralbach infers this from the word of Rambam, who implies that hitting is forbidden only if one does so with intent to overcome someone in a conflict, which is not the case of Reuven's business, where people have no personal grudge against him, but just hit him to let off the steam. Okay, so let's try to understand. So now we see it's very interesting insight. Okay, so there is a similar debate between the Paskim. So Ralbach said, so if somebody said hit me, we're allowed to hit him, right? And he said, I'm not going to press charges, nothing. So we're allowed to hit him. Right, and he's right, and he said even lechatchila you're allowed to do that, right? Not of the fact, but lechatchila. And Ralbach infers from Rodin of Rambam, so meaning when people fight and they fight in order to cause somebody damage, right? To overcome a person in a fight, in a conflict. But if it's only like in the case of the Reuven, he's not against anybody. He opposite these people, his customers in some sense. Right, and they not against him personally, they just want to let off steam, right? Looks like there is no problem, right? So, but there is a problem. Just a side note: there is a problem with this kind of letting off steam. There is a problem. So maybe we're going to explain later. So continue. The Minchas Chinuch says the same of the prohibition against hitting or cursing one's parents, which is punishable by death. Although the Minchas Chinuch found no clear proof for this, he concludes that if parent asks the child to hit or curse them, he transgresses no sin and is not liable to any punishment. According to these opinions, Reuven's business is of being human punching back seem perfectly permissible. Okay, so now as we said, there is a opinion for and opinion against. So Minchas Chinuch, I think Minchas Chinuch commentary on Sefer HaChinuch. So Sefer HaChinuch is a the description of 613 commandments, and Sefer Minchas Chinuch is a commentary on it, I think, if I remember correctly. Right. So he said that. So we have one like negative commandments. We're not allowed to hit a parent. So with other people. So if one person hits another, so he has to pay 5 types of damages, right? So to cure him, right? So I mean all the medical expenses for loss of employment, for shame, for pain, and for humiliation. 5, right? But so meaning if somebody hit somebody or maybe broke his leg, so he has to pay all of this compensation. But if somebody hit his parent or her parent, so the punishment is death penalty. So it's like exclusion. Well, what is hit their parents? Meaning that if blood came out, right, or it was black and blue, right? Meaning that it was blood, it just did not come out on the surface. It was like this blood vessel ruptured underneath the skin. So for sure it is a blood. So according to Halachic, this person deserves a death penalty, right? But right, so meaning how dangerous, and somebody is cursing their parents. Is it a death penalty? I don't remember 100%, but could be as well. Right, as somebody cursing Hashem is the death penalty, same as here. Same is here. Okay. So but the Minchas Chinuch said, so if, I mean, again, there is no clear proof that if a parent said hit me or curse me, right, it is he's allowed, there is no sin. And just so we know, since we're on the topic, I just want to add. So many people they try not to operate on a parent. So even the parent, for example, this person is dentist, and his father said, "Take care of my cavities." He said, "No, please go to somebody else, because maybe you're going to cause them to bleed." And but if you go to the other dentist, it's also going to cause them to bleed. Maybe he's going to feel extra pain. Some people are more sensitive than others, and maybe he's going to get upset even for 1 second, like on his son, for creating this wound. So that's it. So it's not worth it. So we said clearly, it's proper for that person to go to somebody else, unless this son is the best specialist in the field. Okay. But otherwise, or surgery, right, also in this category. So continue. On the other hand, the Rivash, in section 484, cited by Zdei Hamed, volume 1, Aleph, chapter 40, argues that although a person can exempt someone else by payment in exchange of harming him, it's still forbidden to cause bodily harm. The Shulchan Aruch Harav, so Chabad, right, is Niskei Haguf, number 4, rules likewise. It is forbidden to hit someone, even if that person permits it, since one does not have the right to subject his own body to physical harm, embarrassment, or pain, meaning that person is not allowed to do that. So meaning, and when we hit this person, we're going against halacha, meaning we are part of his sin. Okay. So 1 second. So let's quickly do again. So it's opposite opinion. On the other hand, Rivash argues that also a person can exempt himself from payment. So meaning that this guy said that you're not obligated to pay me, even if you hurt me, right? In exchange of harming him, it is still forbidden to cause him bodily harm, like in general, right? So Shulchan Aruch Harav says it is forbidden to hit anyone, even if that person permits it, since one does not have a right to subject his own body to physical harm. So meaning this physical body, same as we explained about tattoos, right? Why a Jew cannot do tattoo? I think non-Jews as well. So this is not your body. This is not like I can do whatever. It's my body, or abortions. Women say it's in my body. I can do whatever. No, it's not your body, and you cannot do whatever you want, right? Okay. So same with that person. According to Reuben, Reuben's question seems to depend on debate between Ralbag and Rivash, whether one may hit someone who has expressly give him permission to do so. Right. Right. So that's the machlokes. According to Rivash, who forbids it, Reuben is guilty of placing stumbling block in front of the blind. Right, that's for sure. So he's forbidden to do so, but he's not doing it with his own hands. He has somebody else do it for him. Right, so putting some luck in front of the blind. It's from Vaikra 19:14. By encouraging people to sin by hitting him, for sure. That's a big one. On the other hand, perhaps in this case, even Revash would permit Reuben's business. The Shulchan Aruch Haraf explains that one cannot give another person permission to hit him, since one does not have the right to subject his body to damage, right? So meaning that's the damage is a key. So meaning in this case, there is like almost no damage. However, just as Nadab Yehuda ruled that one may subject oneself to risk for the sake of his livelihood, so too perhaps one may also subject oneself to the bodily pain and damage for the sake of his livelihood, right? So as we see, it goes back and forth, right? So meaning right, but he needs to make his living, and of course we will learn Imunai Bitachon. Hashem is going to feed you, right? This person is already in a situation, so he's asking the question. Okay. Perhaps right. So okay. So again, maybe we're going to permit him because it's not that dangerous, and he needs to make his livelihood. Okay. Accordingly, since he owns the right of his own harm, in this sense, the permissions he grants others to hurt him is valid. Okay, but in summary, although this might be neither advisable nor appropriate for Reuben to earn his livelihood in this way, it seems to be permissible according to Halacha. Right? According to all of this, according to all that we said. So, I mean, of course, not advisable. So he should get a blessing from a rabbi, and basically from another holy man, accept some mitzvah. And Baruch Hashem, I had 2 people today accepting some mitzvah on themselves. Right? They asked for blessing. I said, you have to do this and that. And one person said, let me think about it. He thought about it, and then a very honest person, young fellow, said, he said, I agree. Baruch Hashem. Right, so the blessing is in the merit of this mitzvah. It's a big mitzvah. I'm not going to say what, doesn't matter. So a person is going to get the blessing. Right, Beezrat Hashem. Stop here. Very sad. So, 1 second. So I continue today with our book HaYashar, and last time we finished the chapter 9, and we start with chapter 10. And let's see the topics that we're planning to cover, Beezrat Hashem. And it says, chapter 10, in which we explain the importance of inviting the poor to the mitzvah feast, so that there will be no indictment against the host in heavenly court, and so that the accuser will not be transformed. Accuser will be transformed into defender, including incident from Medrash Tanhuma. That next topic, that inviting the poor to the feast, is atonement analogous to the eating of the sacrifices by the Kohanim. And it's there is an old custom that invite yeshiva bachurim. So if it's during the day, it's still the yeshiva. like to us, if they can come for the dinner, so that for sure, it's going to be blessing. Lots of blessing is going to come from this wedding. For sure, they're poor, right? Okay, so let's start. Chapter 10. But man makes Seudah mitzvah, such as bris, and engagement, or bar mitzvah. It is important to see that the poor and needy are among the invitees, and that they are well taken care of. Okay. For if person makes a simcha for his son or a daughter, but fails to invite the poor, the wicked lilies and samach mem brings indictments against him in a heavenly court until he is beset by affliction. So meaning this inaction, it's not that these people came to his celebration and he kicked them out. No. In action, he knew that the poor people were struggling and he did not invite him. Right? That's not good. Let's put it this way. The Midrash tells us, for example, that this is what happened to Abraham because he did not invite any poor people to the feast that he made upon Yitzchak weaving. Commenting on this verse, and after these matters, Bereshit 22:1, the Midrash explained that it was in response to the Satan indictment that the Holy One, blessed be He, subsequently commanded Abraham, take now your son, your only one, Yitzchak, and offer him there as a burnt offering. So it's from Bereshit 22:2. Similarly, because Eov made a feast for his children to which no poor people were invited, the Satan was given permission to kill all his people and all his sons and daughters, and to deprive him of his wealth and livestock as well. Yet, even this was not sufficient to satisfy the Satan until he was allowed to afflict Eov persons. Therefore, whoever holds the feast should be sure to invite the poor, so that the accuser will have nothing to say against him. Moreover, he will actually be transformed into advocate. Thus, Midrash Tanhuma, Chazinu 8, relates the following story. A certain wealthy and learned man, whose only daughter was as beautiful as she was modest and pleasant mannered, right? The father betrothed her 3 times and 3 different worthy suitors in succession. But each case the groom was found dead in the morning after the wedding night. Oh. At last the widow proclaimed, let no more men die on my account. I will remain lonely widow from now on until the Holy One, blessed be He, has mercy upon me. And so she remained single for many years. Now it so happened that this wealthy man had a brother living in another country who was extremely poor. He had 10 sons, and every day he and his eldest son would bring back wood from the forest and sell it in order to maintain his household. One day they were unable to sell the wood they had brought, and consequently had no money with which to buy bread. That night they all went to bed hungry. The next morning they went again to the forest and fetched wood for sale, but the father fainted along the way. The son's eyes brimmed with tears over his father's poverty, and he raised his eyes to heaven. The sons, okay. After considering the situation, he asked his father for permission to go visit his uncle. Upon his arrival, upon his arrival, I guess his arrival at the uncle's home. Right. Let me quickly fix it. Just 1 second. Upon his arrival. Upon his arrival in uncle's home, the uncle and his wives and their widowed daughter all rejoiced to see him and inquired after the well-being of the parents and the siblings. He remained there 7 days, at the end of which he said to his uncle, "I have requests to make, and I beg of you not to turn me down." The uncle replied, "Please, my son, ask whatever you desire." So this guy is his nephew, basically, right? The son said, "I will not ask you anything until you swear that you do not refuse me." Like it's sign a blank paper, right? And the uncle complied. The son then continued, "My request is that you give me your widowed daughter in marriage." Upon hearing this request, the uncle began to wail. "Please, my son," he begged, "do not mix this request. For an account of many sins, whoever marries my daughter dies after the first night." But the son insisted, "It is with full knowledge of this that I am asking to marry her." So he's a beautiful. She's a beautiful, and she's modest, and she's like the great Midas. Okay. So there's problem in something else. The uncle told him, "If it is money that you're after, do not marry her, and I will heap you with the silver and gold. For you are pleasant and a wise man, right? A pleasant and wise man, and I do not wish you to endanger your life." But the son was adamant. "You have already sworn to me." When the uncle saw that the young man would not yield, he went to inform his daughter. Upon hearing the news, she too began weeping, bitterly crying, "Master of the universe, Ribono Shel Olam, take my life and do not kill this young man." But short time later, the two were betrothed. The father and the bride, who were also the father of the bride, who was also the groom's uncle, right, invited all the elders of the city to the wedding. They erected a canopy for the groom to sit in at the wedding. And while he was sitting there, Eliyahu Hanavi arrived in a guise of elderly man. He called the groom over to him and told him, "My son, I'm going to give you some good advice, and I warn you not to deviate from it. Today, I think there is words are missing. Okay. We got it. Okay. Today, while you are sitting at your feast, a poor man will come to you. He will appear to you as the most wretched individual in the world. As soon as you see him, you must rise from your place and seat him beside you. Give him to eat and drink, and wait upon him all you might, right? And all your personal attention. When he finished speaking, the old man turned and left. The night of the wedding, the groom was sitting in the night. Okay, that doesn't matter. I think that some words are missing, but I tried to fill. On the night of the wedding, the groom was sitting at the head of all the guests when the beggar entered. The moment the groom noticed him, he stood up, sitting the beggar in his own place, and obeying all the instruction of Eliyahu had given him. When the feast was over and the groom entered the chamber, and the beggar went after him, "My son," he said, "I am a messenger from Omnipresent, and I have come to take your soul." The groom replied, "Grant me a year, or even half a year." "No," the beggar said, "I will not do so. Will not do as you asked." "Grant me 30 days," the groom pleaded. "I will not," said the beggar, whom the groom now knew that was an angel of death. "Grant me until the end of the 7 days of the feasting." "No," said the angel of death, "I cannot do this kindness of granting you a single day, because your time has come." The groom made one last request: "Allow me to take leave of my wife and my uncle, who is my father-in-law." Then the angel of death said, "I will grant you this because you acted with a kindness toward me, but return quickly." So groom went to the chamber where the bride was sitting alone and crying and praying to the Holy One, blessed be He. When the groom came and called to her, she arose and opened the door. Arose and opened the door. She clasped her hands and kissed him and asked, "Why have you come to me alone?" 1 second. She claps her hand and kissed him and said, "Why have you come to me alone?" The groom answered, "I have come to take a leave of you, because my time has come to go the way of all of the earth." The angel of death appeared to me and told me that he has come for my soul. The bride said, "Do not leave. Sit here while I will go and speak with him." So she went to the angel of death and said to him, "Are you emissary that has come for my husband's soul?" "Yes," he acknowledged. "But is it not written in the Torah, when a man takes a new wife, he shall not go out to the army, nor shall he go out to any task? He shall be free for his household an entire year, and cause his wife, whom he has taken, to rejoice." It's from Dvarim 24:5. The Holy One, blessed be He, is God of truth, and His Torah is Torah of truth. But if you take the soul of my husband now, the Torah will appear false. Heaven forbid. If you heed my words, good and well. But if not, then I summon you to the Din Torah, before the heavenly court, before the Holy One, before the Holy One Himself. The angel listened and then said, "Because your husband acted with kindness toward me and honored me, I will grant you your request and bring your case before the Holy One, blessed is He." So the angel went before the Holy One, and in a blink of the eye, returned rejoicing. The Holy One has granted the groom his life. He exclaimed, in the merit of the kindness toward the beggar. All night long, the bride's father and mother wandered about outside of the bridal chambers, listening to the voices of the bride and groom rejoicing. In the morning, they entered the room and saw that they were both safe and sound, and they all rejoiced together. Then they revealed the matter to the entire community, and they all offered the words of the praise and thanks to the Holy One, blessed be He. This is a story as it was related in the Midrash, and it is all because of the groom's display of loving kindness toward the poor. Therefore, a person must be wary of every showing a stern countenance toward the needy who come to his door. And one must be especially careful not to be glower not to lower, at those who partake of Seudah mitzvah. For by shaming the poor, one brings a great misfortune. And let the host not to be concerned if he must add a little to the cost of the feast on their account, because their presence is atonement for him. Thus, an illustrious Maharam Bavli writes in Ta'amei Mitzvahs, positive mitzvah number 40. There is a great benefit for the host of the feast in eating of the poor that are invited to participate. This is a completely analogous to the case of the sacrifice, in which a Kohanim eat, and the owner receives atonement. Moreover, let he be generous toward them, so that to him may be applied verse. One with a generous eye, he will be blessed. Mishlei 22:9. What a story! What a story! What a story! So, I mean, it's not much that I can add to the story, but quickly. So the point of the story is that we have to, like, if we have some celebration, Seudah or something, right, a wedding or engagement or something, make sure to invite some poor people. And some people would not invite. Why? Because guess what? These people are not going to bring them gifts. And if he has like fancy schmancy wedding, so this one plate, right? They count how many plates. It costs him hundreds of dollars, and this guy, they cannot bring anything. So, and some people would underpay, not to pay like how much, like the service costs, and this guy is losing. So they say, this family I'm going to skip, and some family like they always skipped. You understand? Because not because they're bad people, but economically they're not good guests. So, but we have to remember these people, this kindness is actually save us from death. And this example, so right, it's one point, right? Of course, I'm going to skip the story because it's very, very straightforward. But one thing is about Abraham. No, let's do 3 points. I apologize. Let's go over a few points. Right, about Abraham. So it says after these things, right? After these things, and Hashem said, bring this son of yours that you love, Yitzchak, to the place where I'm going to show you. And our sages say it's actually in the Midrash, it's in the Talmud. It's after what things? Like, and sometimes the Torah is very brief, meaning it says that something happened, but what happened we don't know. And Midrash says that this Satan says, look, he did not do the big celebration like when he was weaned, like after 3 years. He did not invite the poor people, so maybe he's not that grateful. And Hashem said, yeah, he's not grateful. He's so grateful that even I ask of him like the most dear possession, meaning his son, he would bring it, bring his son, right, right. And Satan said, maybe not. Let's see. Let's test them. People can talk, but when it comes to the deeds, some people shy away, right? Right, and that's it says after these events, right? Hashem appeared to Abraham, right? And then similarly in Eov, right? So he had made a feast for his kids, right? And he did not invite the poor people. So in these stories, when I learned these stories deep inside, I have this question. I don't have answer. I do not. Maybe it was answer, but somehow I still have this question. Sometimes you read answer, but it's not like a satisfactory answer, right? So Abraham was taking care of all of the poor people, all of the people all over the world for all of these years for free. So to say that he's stingy and he did not invite poor people or some people to his son's celebration, I don't know. Like I would say there is something, must be something wrong to it. motive because of this. It says clearly that he was punished because of that, and same with Eov, right? It says about Eov that he has the big tent, and people would come from all of the directions, and he would personally wave upon them. You understand? So he would serve everybody like a waiter, and of course he did not ask for money, this and that. So it's very interesting. So and one time he wants to like family gathering. He does not want what is it? He does not want guests from outside, right? Some poor people. So only his family, his kids. Don't remember how many kids he had. That's it. So and even in this situation, like this specific situation, he was punished. So again, I don't have an answer, but maybe Hashem expect from them much more. But to say they were greedy and they did not invite poor people, it's not the reason. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's much more deeper than that. Right. Okay. So the story about this poor woman, I'm not sure how it was allowed. Usually, when three husbands died, there is a special title that assigned to this woman, and nobody is allowed to marry her basically, because she's dangerous woman. It's like most likely that next person is also going to die. But since this husband, this father of her father, to swear, he allow. He allowed them to get married. And then Eliyahu Hanavi comes, right? And how do I know it's Eliyahu Hanavi? How do I know to listen to this advice? But it's my personal explanation. Maybe because it was reasonable. And this person, the oldest, the son, the groom, he was from a poor family, so he understood how is it important, like to treat a poor person with respect. Right, so sitting, taking care of it. Okay, I'm going to skip. Everything is beggar. 1 second. Angel of death. Another point. It's very interesting. So we spoke about woman, right? So I mean, he was doing a negotiation with the angel of death, and. A negotiation with the angel of death, and he said basically he agreed that he should die, right? And when his wife coming, right? The wife she just get married, and she with her emotions. Yesterday we spoke about the tears, right? Is it good to cry? And we said it depends. So now her tears and the gates of prayers were open, meaning Hashem heard her tears and he granted him life, I think forever. I mean, until he dies naturally, in honor of her tears, not because of his pleading, of the groom. It's very interesting. So a woman should know the power of her prayer. And right, sometimes she also has to help men in negotiation, right? So he was reasonable, and she was reasonable, but Satan listened to her, meaning that she, I think it says in introduction that she was very very modest and with good character traits. So meaning she had this merits that Hashem is going to listen to her, right? Do exceptional. Like favor. Okay, so that's my comment on this story. Comments on this story. So very important. So if you have a wedding, right? So if you know the family, and ask a local rabbi, he would tell you, right? Somebody like people do not want to associate with, unfortunately. Right? Somebody's sick, he's sick, she's sick, children. Right, and if you have a wedding, invite them. Right, well, what is it going to cost you? Like some extra money? So it's going to be like people give you. Hashem is going to compensate. You understand? But a person is going to bring a lot of blessing. Of course, they must be kosher people, not just somebody. Right, kosher people. So Hashem is going to bless. Hashem is going to bless. Okay. So we stop here. Right. So let's see. So the whole chapter is one story. Let's introduce the next chapter. We're planning to start tomorrow. Beezrat Hashem. One second. So the next chapter is chapter 11. It's much more longer and different topics. So here we go. Chapter 11, in which it will be explained that these times of the exile, the world is sustained by two pillars: the merit of the Holy Torah and the merit of the patriarchs. Next topic is that one should pray every evening after reciting the blessing over the washing of the hands. Every morning after washing of the hands, that the merit of the Torah and that of the patriarchs should stand by us, including text of such a prayer. So meaning it's some extra prayer that is not in our Siddur, right? That the person should not assume that the fear of heaven to be so ingrained in him that the evil inclination cannot cause him to stray, for no man can cause himself trust himself until the day of death, including incident from Yerushalayim Talmud. So meaning it's a very, very important point, like we stress it many times when we answer the question. So even you overcame these issues like in the past, don't believe in yourself. So meaning this situation is different. So Yitzhak knows that you were able to overcome. So now he's going to come from with the different tactics, right? So don't trust yourself ever, right? The need for the bodily cleanliness, and the requirements of washing the hands before prayer. Okay. Next one, other occasions on which hand washing is required. So we had the question yesterday about hand washing. That one should not sit next to the evildoer, right? Did we have in this class yesterday? Or on this week, right? So to stay away from evil people, right? Oh no, here is a synagogue, okay? But in general as well. That from every transgression, a destructive angel is created that clothes himself in a wood or stone, Lerner causing him to stumble. Next one, that the place where a sin was committed becomes a place of danger, including the incident from the Zohar. Unbelievable. All right, so let's stop here. Okay, so the first question, question about impurities. If you leave a pot of water like the pitcher or tea kettle out overnight with a tiny opening in a spout, right? Does the liquid attract this spirit of impurity overnight? I would say no. But because let's just to remind us the source of this prohibition. So I would say why you're not allowed to drink liquids that are left on a table or something open overnight, because the snake might have drink from that liquids and it deposited the poison, right? But here, since there is no access, so I'm looking in a picture. I mean, we have a tea kettle similar to this. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. There is a net or something metal screen. So for sure, that they cannot get into the water. So we do not this does not apply. So the prohibition is open, some kind of open container that they can get to the water. So that it's not a bad spirit per se, but it was practical. But of course, our holy tradition is to keep all of the practice of if our ancestors were doing something, so we just continue with with this. It's applied, does not apply. It's absolutely relevant. And person is going to get rewarded for just for following things without logic. So the less logical, the more reward. So meaning what? So if for example somebody eats kosher, you know why a person say why eat kosher? Because it's better, it's cleaner, so it does not have like all of the bugs and ants and I don't know all of this bad stuff. So that's why I prefer kosher. So if person eats kosher because of this, yeah, she's going to get reward. But if they say I eat kosher, not because of the benefit, who knows if there is benefit? Right, you see all of these non-Jews, I know they live to 115 years or 120, right? Eating non-kosher all their life, and right, it's they still healthy and strong. And you see this all of these athletes, they don't eat kosher for sure. They eat, I mean, I don't know all of them, but I assume they don't eat kosher, and they healthy and strong, and they can jump and they can run and they can kick and they can do all of the things. So it has nothing to do with health. Right, we eat kosher, we do other things because Hashem said so. That's the most important reason. So and same with these halachas, we do just because Hashem said so. Right, and sometimes I know myself, like I forgot to cover something. So for example, I was drinking tea or coffee, not, but tea, whatever. So just cover with a napkin, and that's enough. So meaning if somebody will try to tamper with a drink, let's say that you have a snake or somebody in your house, so the napkin would be off, right? Only human being can put napkin like right in the right place. So but sometimes I would forget, so like. You need to spill the drink, and you like in your mind you're a big hero, right? If you need this encouragement, like because you're following our sages requirements. Okay, that's a very good question. So next question, Rabbi, how do? No, one second. I apologize. I missed one. Okay, next one. One question about story in HaYashar. Wonder if the blank check. Wow, so halachically. I had exactly the same. Halachically. If one realizes that they are not able to fulfill such a vow, can you nullify it? Yes. Okay, so I mean, let's take a step back. So the question is, this future son-in-law, right? I mean, he was a nephew, right? He visited, and he said, "Promise me something, right? But don't ask me what. Just promise that you're going to do. Like swear to me." Of course, we never ever allowed to swear at these things. I mean, even person looks nice. You don't know what in their mind. There's sick people, right, in the world. Of course, this person is different, but it doesn't matter. We don't swear. So we don't sign blank piece of paper. And I had a clip long time ago. One of our first clips. It was maybe it was from Rabbi Rubenschlitter, or it was from this book by Ravna, I think. Maybe I don't remember exactly. But the story goes like that. It was after the stroke of Rav Chaim, I apologize, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, right? So that's all. So after his stroke, so the doctor came into the room and he said, "Do you know what date is it?" He said, "Yeah, I know." Right, and he said, right, some other questions, like it's like standard procedure to test if all of the like senses came back to the person. Some people get after the stroke brain damage. So we have he's not here today, our dear student that explained to us like this side of their brain. This, I mean, they teach them in the medical school, right? But they have to test it. and they ask some like not hard questions, but to see if how person can reply. And he said, do you know what your name is? He said, yeah, I know what my name is. Can you write this name? He said, I'm not going to write my name, but I am going to write something else for you. Doctor said, write something else for me. So, and he said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these numbers, and to I don't know to big number, whatever. And until the doctor said, okay, that's enough. I got. He looked at the paper. I got the point. And then after the doctor leaves, this I think he was one of his grandchild. So the grandchild asked grandpa, like, what was the problem? Instead of writing like half a page of the numbers, just write your name and that's it. He said, you know, don't you know? On this Talmud, on this in this page, and it says, so never write your name on a blank piece of paper, because like right to test out the pen, right? You know, all the days you have the tasa, because they're on top of your name, they can do whatever, and then you're going to be sold to slavery or something, own your life to that people. So meaning when the grandson heard this, he understood that grandpa in all his senses, there is no problem that this thing did not affect. So even in this situation where the people think like he just came back from the other world, basically, like they would think about this, then no, but this holy person, like Chaim Kanievsky, that's all he learned, like he thought about only about Torah. So don't you know that it says in Talmud, don't put your name, of course. So that's a holy tzaddik, but belong from them, and it's not allowed to write write our name to sign somewhere. So if you want to test out the pen today, all of the pens were, but in my days, but I remember you take it from the store, you bring home, maybe it works, maybe not. It was 50-50, maybe not 50, but maybe 30, maybe 25%, maybe 20% chance that the brand new pen is not going to work. Okay, but going back to this question, can you nullify this promise? Yeah, you can nullify. There is a special Pesach, like a door, which is what that you said. Had I known that he would ask me this, or that this would be impossible, I would never swear. But why you put yourself in that situation? I mean, this exemption is like after the fact. If you accept it upon yourself, for example, I don't know, to pray with first minyan, right, the second minyan, and then you realize it's not enough hours to sleep for you, for example, right? And your immune system goes down, and I don't know, like family is not something. So now, is it a good idea? Yes. Did you mean to do that when you made this promise? Absolutely, 100%. But now, after the fact, had I known that, I would never swear, right? I would never swear. So now it's right, this opening, and they would nullify the promise for sure. Right. But of course, the question is a very good question. So it's proper not to put ourselves in these situations. So that's why we always say bli neder, right? And right. So next question, very good question. Avi, how can one especially respectfully communicate with his parents that sometimes the parents is going to frustrating him? Particularly, what to do with if a parent is already aware that it is an issue, but finds it's hard to fix. Okay, it's very, very practical question. We deal with these questions like on a daily basis, not on the daily, but a few times a week for sure we get this situation. So again, and it doesn't matter how old are you. You be 17 years old, 20 years old, or 35, or you be 50 years old, or 60 years old, and you have parents that have big disagreements with you. Understand? So first in this child-parent situation, you have to understand. It doesn't matter who you are, like how important you are. You have 200 people working for you. For your mother, you're a little baby, right? Period. Or if your father, yeah, maybe you're grown up, but you still. you're still not there 100% that you're a baby. So like then they going to talk to you like you're a baby. You have to accept it. Don't think I'm grown up. I have my own family. I have my kids. I tell 200 people what to do or something like that. Okay, so that's number one. So we have to understand that parents are going to learn, but for them you're still a baby, right? So you have to take it into consideration. And when you have the respectful communicators, so you try to minimize this conversation if possible. So if you try nicely to say this thing, whatever, is very important to me. Say no, they making fun. Okay, they're making fun. So try to communicate less if it's possible through the text message, through the voicemails. It would be the best, but sometimes it's not going to work. So try to shorten the conversations, right? To show them, I apologize, and I am in a hurry. I have to do this, I have to do that, but thank you, I miss you very much, and be very short. And for other people who are very close, like living in proximity of the walking distance or a close drive to their parents, just move out. There is no other solution just to move away somewhere like very far. Maybe very far, like maybe 5 hours drive or something. That's pretty far. Okay, so again, don't think that they're going to change just because you told them so. That you not appreciate their jokes and their constant I don't know. Jokes and constant misunderstanding, and you said this, and you ask them to be respectful of I'm changing. That's how my belief is like this. So I'm no longer that person that you know that used to live in your house. Please respect it, and they don't. So I mean, right. So we still obligated to respect them, but the best respect and not to put a stumbling block in front of the blind, because if they upset us, they have no we have to understand, they have no right to upset us, no right whatsoever to upset us. You understand? So don't put a stumbling block in front of the blind. Don't give them opportunity. Okay, so that's a very good question and the answer and. Right. I think what I advise to people, of course, all the different situations, but it worked so far. I mean, people reported me to the work, decrease the tension. Okay, so next question. What are the requirements for negel of Asar cup? Is it kosher without handles? I mean, the holy tradition, and we try to keep this holy tradition, is with the handles. So if we're talking about like some place that it's not available, that's one thing. But in our society, it's so already available. You can buy online. So all of my cups and I bought online. Right. So first, free shipping. Like and price sometimes it's cheaper than in store, and you don't have to find the parking. Or let's say even the same price as in the store, doesn't matter. You get it in the house, right? I would say proper with the two handles, right? The reason that they explain that this is a real impurity, right? After somebody wakes up after the morning, it's a real impurity. So when we talk about this person touch his shoes, touch the things body parts that you usually covered, scratch himself under the hip, so all of these things. Yeah, those are impurities, but not as severe as from after the sleep, right? So I would say just were afraid that the impurity from one hand that is still dirty is going to go onto the hand that you just washed. So that's why when you have two cups, there's no connection. So you always pour from one from the cup, and there's no contact with the water. So that's why they said that's to do it with the two handles. Okay, so continue on the next question. Okay. No. Let's continue with this question. So it says, in the case of public place, is it recommended to bring the cup even without handles? Okay. So public places are different. So usually when we say Nagelwasser, we mean it's like in the morning. Even though yes, we call it washing cup, Nagelwasser, correct. But in a public place, no, we're not obligated. So as I said, beside the Shema, I said that this impurity is not as severe as when you wake up. And sometimes, guess what? You're driving somewhere, or like you're taking a bus, like you go to the public restroom. There is no cup. Right? Are you obligated to take a cup with you? You're not obligated. So if you can get a cup, like a disposable cup, it would be good. But if not, so without handles it works. And even you can open the faucet. So if you you have to do three times. You open once, right? Close. One close. So meaning it's going to be effect. You're going to create effect of the cup. What does it mean? That water is going to flow through the human force. Okay, so with this sensor is not going to work out so well, but with like mechanical, like a standard faucet is going to work, right? So you open once, wash. There is no problem, right? So technically you don't need a cup, but I guess if it's your a place in the office, right? You can get a cup or even the disposable one, right? And you can wash hands, right? But in the morning. It's proper to have with two handles, but somewhere else, no problem. For example, when I was working in an office, I brought my cup with me, and it's very interesting. It was many years ago, and I said to my wife, let's buy this cup. I said, let's get a cheap one, like this plastic one, cheap, like a color one, cheap one. I don't know how, like $4 a cup, right? I don't know, $3.99, a long time, $2.99. Like cheap. My wife said, God bless you, like you're going to be in the office. You cannot buy a plastic. You have to buy the very shiny, not the best, but very good. And that's what I got. We got a cup, so everybody saw my cup. And I never put it, when I would go to vacation, I put it in a drawer. One second. No, I mean, like at night I would put it in a drawer, but during the day it would be on my table, on my desk. People would come and ask. I would tell them, "What is this cup?" I never saw it. And it was shining, very interesting, right? So make sure that to be very, very proud Jew. That's what I mean. What I mean, right? So a plastic one you can have in your basement or something, but here you have to have a good one. Okay, again, but public restroom. If you can get disposable cup, good. If not, just use. The way as we said, and even if you pour some water in your cupped hand and then you wash like this, it's also considered to be enough. For example, for a prayer, I think one of the next question in our HaYashar would be about washing for a prayer and how important. So that's one of the things, right? So you can wash even once, and that's also considered to be enough. Okay. Okay, so I'd like to finish this question. And just one advice. So if a person have addition while I'm answering the question, it would be like easier if you do edit. There is edit, and you can edit your question on the bottom. So I'll see. So I think I found it very, very beneficial. If a person wants to provide additional information, that's amazing. Okay, but reply also good. Okay, so next question. We have a question about chesed. When reading the biography of Rebbetzin Kanievsky, it was mentioned that she did many chesed beyond the norm, such allowing homeless lady sleeping. Oh, that's a famous one. Sleeping in her own bed. watching children for many neighbors in her own bed. I think they got her a room or something. Okay, but okay, continue. Willing to sacrifice the school position to her grandchildren, to let other children attend the school. And said, I wonder to what extent should one push themselves to do chesed. If one finds it quite difficult to fulfill specific requests of the needy, which is not monetary, right? Okay. How should they approach the situation? Should they push themselves to fulfill the request, albeit being extremely uncomfortable? So that's amazing question. It's actually, right, I think, connected to our today's story. So let's do story mixed with this question. So for that person, I have to understand for that person, the poor groom, right? So he grew up like that. He saw his father fainted from the hunger. Because they were not able to sell the wood, the firewood on the previous day. You understand? So they did not have anything to eat. So this person was like a little more, right, open to this chesed. He would understand the plight of the poor person. And sometimes people start with chesed and they turn like crazy, right? Because they intended to the chesed to be nice, and then something not going according to their way, and they start behaving irrationally, and it wouldn't better for them not to do chesed. Guess what? It happened to me today. Like before this class, I have another class. So before that class, I had to go to the store, vegetable store, buy some vegetables, right? And so we don't have what is it, plastic bags, right? So not allowed. So everybody comes with their bags. Okay, no problem. So I come I stand with my bag. I put the vegetables. So and this lady, nice cashier lady, she said, "Give me your bag. I'm going to put this all of the groceries in the bag." Oh, what could be better? She's nice lady. So I put it on the counter. Right, and I'm ready to pay. And she said, "No, why do you put it on the cash?" She started yelling, "You have to open it. Don't you see I'm with the vegetables?" Like, I opened it. I said, "I apologize 17 times." I opened. She put it in this. Okay, right. No, I tried to. She said, "No, it's too late. I'll do it. Don't worry." So this has it like she's trying to be nice, and then she exploded, and everybody heard. Like, I mean, I don't know, whatever. So it would be better that I would put my vegetables myself, and I don't need your favors. So what I'm trying to say, so a person must be ready mentally. These people might abuse it. So if you train yourself, if you allow yourself to be patient only for 17 minutes, and then or you for one night, you want to do this favor for one night. Guess what? They're going to come back. Right? Are you ready for a second night? So I would say if not in person genes to do that, so you have to start it gradually, and we have to remember that they're going to abuse you. It's guaranteed. So it's a person has to go into this with an understanding that I'm not going to get anything from it except abuse and and insults, nothing. So that this crazy lady, I heard the stories about this crazy lady that lived many years. So she was the boss of the house in Rav Kanievsky. So she told everybody what to do. And when it was Yichud, I think him and his son-in-law, one of the son-in-laws, so and this crazy lady, he said, "Look, it's Yichud. I have to go out. We have to do not her like this strange lady, but we have to go out to the base medrash from our own house because his wife was not there." So technically, I mean, it's Yichud midrabanan. It is allowed because two upstanding men, as we now know from our many lessons of Hilchas Yichud, all these halachas, but technically it's love. But they left. I mean, I'm not sure how many times they left, but because of this lady. So you have to be mentally prepared. So if you're not, so as Rabbi Ruin Shlita said, if you're going to do kiruv, you have to be prepared that people is going to abuse it, they're going to use it as a donkey, right? And they're going to dump when you're not convenient any longer. You understand? When they need you, they're going to give you compliments, and this and that. As soon as the second they don't need you, dump. Okay, so as I said, if you agree with that, this might, go ahead. If not, better stop now. So I thought about it. I say, okay, that's thank you very much for reminding, telling me that. Yeah. So then it is easy because you prepare to do that for this attitude. You understand? So he's with these people, and with these poor people, right? Beyond the norm. So let's. I would say. So go back to this. Our question at hand. So I would say start with the norm and train ourselves. Right, we have to train ourselves to be normal, to do chesed in a norm, and then see if you want to do extra, try it out, but be prepared, that it's not going to end there. Right, people are going to ask you for much more, and in all of the inconvenient times, and with all of the things that you would have to give up. So. Right. So for many people, it's not recommended. Like this lady with the bag. Like, why don't you open my bag? Your bag. I was like, whoa. I said, just stop it. It's not needed. I already put it. Had to do it earlier. Understand? With a chesed like that, so right. With attitude like that, it's better than not. But okay. So continue. So again. Finds it difficult, don't overdo it. So as Shlomo HaMelech said, it's right. Don't be exceptionally righteous, right? So do be a normal person. Okay, normal person, and that's why they write books about legends and story about her, not about other people. So we have to understand also not everybody's like that. Okay, so I give you. My personal experiences, even from today, Baruch Hashem. Right. Okay, but the thing that I expect from these people to be like that. So I was like shocked because I was listening to a lecture, right? Or no, I put it in a pause, right? When my turn came, so I put my grocery on the countertop, so I'd stand back, and she saw the bag, she give it the back. So basically, I generally I'm prepared for these things, but a person who would not be prepared would get upset and start yelling at her, and it would be not appropriate. I mean, it could be in the case of a Jew, be kill Hashem. Okay. So continue, next question. Correct question about honoring parents. If parents want to do something that are likely to cause damage to themselves and ask us to assist them, and they would not let go unless we reject them directly, how should we approach the situation? For example, if parent wants us to help them with certain financial investment, which is considered very likely to fail. Okay. So before we start answering the next question, so I need to remind you, all of us, what we said. We had the whole series of short clips. Some people liked it very much. They send me messages how about in this case and that case, and 3 or 4 times minimum I said, you know what, it's part 17. I remember we did this answer to a question, just continue watching, right? Because we just did one more part, and few things about parents. So when it says the respecting of parents, it says we said how do we respect our honor. Not. There is two things: respect and honor our parents. How do we respect our parents? So, meaning taking care of them. We said that you have to. It's from Talmud, directly from Talmud. Gives two examples. Help them with the food, meaning bring the food, bring the water, tea, whatever they want, and help them with going out and coming in. So you need to take them to the doctor, back to the doctor, take them to the supermarket, wherever they need to go to get new glasses, whatever, right? No problem. So that's what you obligate. That's it. Money, not obligated. So meaning if, and we had one part of it. So for example, a parent asks you to do something for them, to buy, I don't know, to buy shoes, I don't know, something. So it's absolutely normal to get a refund. So I spent, father, right, nice shoes on you, right? You sure? Fit, no problem. So we keep it. Yes, father, I paid $67 for them, right? So and they obligated to return. You not unless they're poor, meaning that you would need to give tzedakah. So if you're obligated to give tzedakah, they support. So you start, of course, from your parents. Who else, right? You owe them much more than other people around, right? So meaning if they can afford this to buy their shoes themselves, or they buy grocery themselves, you're not obligated to pay for them. Absolutely not. And some people think that is that's a respect of the parents. Absolutely not. Right? You have to learn Torah, not draw your own conclusions. So in this case, when if they ask in money to borrow and for investment, it's not like they don't have money for the next meal. Right, so and they ask you, they say, look, I spent a lot because I was in the hospital. It was this medical bill, that, but I'm getting my social security check, this check. I'm going from my job, compensation. Okay, so guess what? Can you lend me $2,000? I mean, I'm just giving example. I think, of course, it's proper that we lend the money if you know that they're going to return. If you know they're not going to return, so they're in the category of all other people. Meaning you're not allowed to be stupid. You understand? So and if it's not like a matter of surviving, so you're not allowed. So if they want to invest in something, so you have means, just say no, right? So you have to reject directly, right? So right, and of course, as we said before, like we're not allowed to lie. So say something that is not exactly a lie. For example, parents want to help them sort of a national investment. We consider very likely to fail, right? Okay, so this continuation. To clarify, in this case, there is no financial request to the child, but the parent wants the child to assist in the documents, dealing with other parties. So documents, for example, if a person says, yeah, okay, can you sign these documents, like that you're going to be guarantor? So what does it cost you? Look, you know me. So right, it says, curse is the man, as we said before, that put themselves in a situation of guarantor. Right, not a good idea. So I don't know exactly what I mean. That's not enough in the information. So basically, if you see that you can get hurt, like financially or emotionally from these things, and they going to create like tension in a family, so it's better to say no. So if you say no right away, it's much better than you say yes and then you try to bail out. So for sure. So just be firm to say no, and it's right. So it's very, very advisable. There's one person long time ago. So he came home and his stepdaughter sitting on a porch with a puppy. She said, he said, well, what's going on? She said, yeah, somebody gave me for my birthday. It was her birthday or something. A puppy, and puppy is going to say. He said, absolutely not. She said for 3 days, and this my fiance is taken back. He said, we advised him, said no, because these 3 days is going to turn out forever. That's how the things work. You will let something in, So it would be impossible to get rid of it. So then the fiance said, no, you know what, maybe when we get married, it's in 17 years from now, we're not ready. It's like, yeah, we can have this dog. And so if you don't want this dog, if you think that it's not good for your family, so just say no. It's better to withstand this pressure than after the dog is there. So yeah, try to get out of that situation. Same is here. It's better to say no, because right. So okay, so there is I think continuation. There is no financial obligation on a child in any way, but could affect the parents in this case. Additionally, the child want to keep the distance from the parents, especially in financial matter, because of a different hashkaf and spiritual influence, right? So, right, it starts from documents, and then you're going to find out the documents are illegal. So it's better to stay away, right? To stay away, just and be firm, right? That I apologize. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. That's all. It's much better than to say yes, or let's say go into details, and that's it. Okay. Right. So next question, Rabbi, are there any issue of drinking out of cup set for nitalas? Is there any issues with that? I mean, if a person washes this cup with a soap or something, dip them in the mikveh if it's metal. I mean, it's not a good idea to switch if one time and you wash it completely and you dry it and you want to drink water. I think you can drink from it, right? Okay. So next question, a general question: is there two types of restroom? If there are two types, one is uni-gender, not for private type, but the liberal lefty ones. And another is normal restroom, but far away. Is one allowed to use uni-gender restroom? Are those places considered place of immorality? Not sure what does it mean. I mean that the men that consider that they sell themselves women would go to the restroom. I mean, I heard about it, but hopefully it's not the case. Okay. So again, if there are two types of restroom, one is uni-gender, not private type, but liberal lefty ones. I'm not sure what is it, so please clarify. And another is normal restroom, far away. And one is allowed to uni-gender restroom. I'm not sure what lefty. Everyone goes to the same restroom. I mean, if it's like a regular public restroom, but men would not. I mean, I heard like many years ago, like there is some restroom. I'm not sure they implement it or not. So if man like feels that he's a woman, so he can go there, or a woman feels like she's a man, so they can go there. So hopefully it's not the case. But if it's a simple public restroom, whatever we have whatever we call public restroom, yeah, there is no problem. You can go there. Is it a place of immorality? Both men and women enter the same large place, but they have a little cubicle. Whoa. I was in a place like this once in Israel. So I said, well, where's the man? No, it's first 3 stalls are from men and others for women. It's like, are you serious? Right, right. That was a little too much for me to handle. Right, lefty liberals. Wow. Again, everyone goes to the same restroom, both men and women. I mean, those are common in college. There is no separation at all, nothing designated. That's crazy. Whoa, well, that's very sick, very, very inappropriate. So I would say if it's possible to avoid this kind of restroom, we should avoid it like at any cost, right? If a person must go, so yeah, look, yeah, we can go. Hashem, I don't know the things, but okay. So next question. Rav, can you listen to music made from musician that later went off the derech? That's a famous one. That's a famous one. So unfortunately, all of these musicians, I don't know who is an exception. Tell you the truth, I don't know which one is the exception that they would not go off the derech, like or do some crazy things. I guess the thing is, it's my personal explanation. That they want to be popular, and like if they only play for religious people, so it's a very small audience. But if they going to combine with the modern Orthodox and all other clowns like Reform or other, they want the Jewish music, so you have to comply with them. Like if they're going to mix dancing, so like he goes to the mix dancing. What can he do, right? On other, when he sings for others, there is no problem. But when he has other offers, and of course the Satan pays more, right, to these people, so they would go. So there is a problem with the things. Like maybe it's already poison. So he was singing these songs. I would say limited, but we have to understand there is a poison in them, right? So my answer: try to limit them. But unfortunately, all of them like became. Some of them are completely left religion. Some of them, but some of them just start behaving differently, very differently from the time when they just start. Okay, very good. So we finished, Baruch Hashem. So perfect timing. So thank you very much for learning with us. And again, so this class was in the merit of Refuah Shlema, Refuah Hanefesh, Refuah Haguf, our dear Rabbi Reuven Shlita. Tomorrow morning he's going to have a surgery, and it should be successful. And we all should pray and keep it in mind for all of the good things, and not only good but amazing things that he does, and how much he spent the whole his life. It's in the public for public. I don't know, for Jews and non-Jews. He has no reserves. That's he gives all his away. So may in his merit and the light, the Torah that he brings to this world, may Hashem grant him the full refuah shlema, and he brings even more light, and we should be encouraged and learn from him, his holy Torah. So thank you very much, and please join us tomorrow. We're going to continue with the Shabbos kitchen. Right, Shabbos kitchen. Thank you and good night.